What's going on, people? What up? What up? Hope everybody's cool, everybody's blessed, everybody's healthy and in good spirits. I'm waiting for the brother Rufus Black, the Maestro, the legend. I've been waiting for this because although I'm familiar with Rufus Black's art, I don't know much about him. And this will be an opportunity for me to dive in. Welcome to dive in and get to know him better. Always respected his art. Thank you for coming in. Welcome, welcome. My guest of honor just came in the room. Instagram's been treating me bad lately. Hopefully today it won't act up on me. What's going on? Thank you for joining. I sent you an invite, brother. I don't know if you received it. Did you get the invite? Well, I accepted yours. Hold on for a minute. All right, I just invited you. Instagram, man. There we go.
Ah,
What
ah,
is up, brother?
huh? What up, cuzzo?
I am so excited about talking to you today. I've been looking forward to this.
That's cool, man. Likewise, cuzzo.
No, let
You
me
know
look.
what it is. I tell
Let
us.
me wait a minute. Let me look at you for a minute. I want to see the drip. I'm looking at what you got going on over there. I like those spectacles. Okay. All right. Okay.
What I'm saying. We ain't gonna come on. We ain't gonna come on Cheek Evans joint and not be. You know what I'm saying? Not be a little crispy. We had to do something. So I threw a little sweatshirt shimmy. A little, Solid Success Entertainment. Shouting out my label. And
Absolutely.
look at you. You talk about me. Come on, man. Come on, fam.
I just show up to work, brother. I just show up to work.
And I do the same, bro. I'm the same here, man. Cause look, humility is key, but you got to know what you are and know what you do, and
Absolutely.
that's from everything you do, even with getting dressed and putting it on. You know what the right thing to put
You
on
ain't
for the
never
right
lied.
occasion.
You ain't never
And
lied.
I respect
I
this
was
occasion, so you
raised
know
on
I had
that.
to do it, my bro.
I was raised on that. You never lied.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
So how are you, brother?
man. I'm blessed, man. The word that the best describes me is just grateful. Just
Okay.
grateful, bro.
Okay.
Grateful, bro.
And that's everything. Honestly,
Yep.
that's everything.
Yep.
So I was interviewing our sister, Faye Renee
Yep.
Evans,
Mhm.
and you came into the interview,
Yep.
and I took a chance and asked you if you would do this with me, and you said yeah, and I was oh so happy.
Yep.
And I had said to her in our interview, well, I don't like to call them interviews, I like to call them conversations because I'm having conversations with people.
Right.
Um, I spoke with her in the conversation, and I had to give her flowers simply because anyone that I have ever met through faith or because of her, they all have that same kindred spirit. Like we all kind of embody what she represents a little bit. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
That's the truth.
And yeah, and I don't care who it is. Like everybody is the salt of the earth. Sweet spirits, God fearing people. at least the ones that I'm in communication with. And I so appreciate that. Can you talk to me a little bit about your relationship with our sister?
Man, our relationship go back before Biggie, before all of this. This was
Mm-hmm.
like Big say, it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to like being fresh out of high school. I had just, got to New York. My producer at the time, Chad Elliott, um, he was getting real hot in the music industry, and he was producing a lot of people. And one of the main chief guys he was producing was Al B. Shore. When I met Al B. Shore, and Al B. Shore heard me rhyme and all these characters and all the stuff that I do. He was like, "Yo, this dude is something special." And back then, my rap name was Peekaboo. Um, and so Al would be like, "I'm gonna put you on a record," and I was so blown away. Al B. Shore, one of my heroes. You know what I'm saying? And but he would have me come up to his studio session, and at the time I was working with a group called the Capers, which was Rashida from Love and Hip Hop,
Mm-hmm.
um, a girl Kia. Kia went on to do a song called "Shorty Swing My Way." She rapped on
Yeah.
that, and another girl named Kiki. They were called the Cartoon Capers. So I was right for her. So Rashida used to be with me all the time. So I remember that particular session. Me and Rashida went upstairs to Albie Shore's session at Unique Studios. And, man, I heard Faith singing. Like the vocal booth, it was like a window about like this big. I kid you not, bro. And growing up in Youngstown, Ohio, I listened to the Clark sisters, the Neville sisters, and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first time I heard R&B music being sang that way, but resonating the right way. Because you know how
Mm-hmm.
certain gospel singers try to do R&B and it don't hit right.
Right.
It don't it don't go right. So it's just crazy. It's noise in my audio. Okay, I know why. Hold on, let me do this. Hold on. I,
Shout out to the team. Shout out to the
shout out to the
team.
queen.
Hi.
Hi. I love the way you hold him down.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just heard the background
No,
and I didn't want to
it's
really.
all good. It's all good. I love this. Yeah.
Yeah, she just saved me, so I didn't even know how that was in the background. But yeah, so backtrack. So when I'll be sure had me up there and I'm hearing her sing, and like I said, growing up in the church, all those great singers, and then you people who try to do gospel and come into R&B, it's like sometimes you listen and be like, nah, money, your anointing is so thick that you don't have the versatility to
Mm-hmm.
really do R&B. Like it's okay to
Mm-hmm.
just be gospel and just stay in that lane.
True.
But the Lord gave Faith a universal anointing. The Lord expanded her anointing. It wasn't just for church. I always tell her this because she preached to me all the time. Every time she do it, I'd be like, I call them the fizzy sermons. You know how fizzy get going. But she just had this thing, and it just made you. It was real R&B, but you could feel the Holy Spirit about love, like she really loved for real. So when she
Mm-hmm.
when she when she met Big, man, she only knew him for like a day or two. She's talking about getting married. I'll never forget what she called me, and she told me that. I was like, what? So she was like my sister that started stepping into her womanhood and adulthood quicker than me. It's almost like really having a real sister. Like
Yeah.
oftentimes you have a sister and you can be older than her, but she grow faster than you, get
Mm-hmm.
taller quicker first,
Yeah.
or she start doing more. Women are just wired differently. They start stepping into maturity a little quicker than
Mm-hmm.
us niggas sometimes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's true.
So, and it's like she was stepping into that. Like she was writing songs like "Give Me a Reason to Love You, I Want to Love You More," and she was like to me like what we experienced with Michael Jackson. This little dude singing these grown like records. Like what you know about that, little homie? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how Faye was. People don't realize when she was singing "No Other Love Can Measure" and give me the reason to love you, and
When I
I
want
just
to
can't.
love you more.
Like, yo, we're just like, and she's a year after me coming out of high school.
Wow.
I'm older than her. So I'm like, I'm looking at her like, yo, this is what you really want. Now that's why she used to get on me and be like, yo, Peekaboo, when we make it and we blow up, don't act like you don't know niggas. Don't start changing, cause I was like, I want to get at these girls. Like, I'm coming from Youngstown, Ohio, I'm moving to New York, and I see all this Dominican stuff, this Puerto Rican stuff. I see this, I see woo wop. And they like a little dark skinned little guy. I thought I was, what? I was wigging. But she was always there, like, snatching me up to, like, to chill out. So our brother and sisterhood has been, like, genuine, thorough from the moment we connected, and it's just been strong ties of, of course, the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, and just loyalty and brotherhood and sisterhood. It's like my mother even said, it's like it's like she had her. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that's my family. And my wifey. Oh, she met her, and they both hit it off because they both got that brolic
Yeah.
energy. They stand on the truth, and you ain't chopping that tree down with them two.
Yeah.
You already
Yeah.
know. You know if anybody know, Chi.
Yeah. She's the truth. She's the truth. And throughout the years, I've seen things on social media, see pictures of y'all together, and you are always supporting each other. And in this industry, with the way things are and how it's designed, and the manufactured camaraderie, or not, it could go the other way.
That was.
Um, how do you maintain those relationships? Your way, of course. There's no general way, but your spin on it.
Man, to be perfectly honest with you, you could call it my spin, but to me. My grandmama raised me on common sense. You ain't gotta be this super philosophical person and know how to read and do algebra and calculus to get this. It's common sense. It is you value and gratefulness,
Hmm.
and it's not when you look at the world in comparison to the music industry. The music industry, I was just telling my little bro, my artist Elliot Major yesterday. The music industry is very small.
Hmm.
But when you're on the outside, you see Rihanna's, you see all these people, you think it's so big, but when you really get into this, you see it's small. You say something about a nigga, and then like it catches wind and catch fire. Now it's all
Hmm.
now you got Hollywood unlocked and it's everywhere now. Now, back then it wasn't no internet, but
Right.
it was still a lot of talking going on. And me personally, I was just raised on valuing your relationships and knowing if you like my mama, one of the things she always say, you better respect me. You ain't gonna get one mama. You only gonna get one grandmama.
Hmm.
And she would say that's the same thing with your friends. Some of us can only count how many friends they got on one hand. So if you got more than
Yep.
two friends, you better thank the Lord. So you was raised on those values because that was common. That's what the Southern roots that raised me taught me. Common sense is what you do.
Yeah.
So when I met Faith and I got in this industry, and I just started seeing how people were snaking people, robbing people, like taking people's publishing, and they out there getting rich and thinking they getting paid because they got little show money coming in, not realizing somebody is like getting all the royalties, and
Yeah.
them dudes is able to sleep at night like that. All the evil. It's just so much evil that I saw. And here this young girl is schooling me.
Mm-hmm.
Schooling me when I got there. Like, yo, so I was like, yo, from that moment, I was like, if I ever establish any friendships in this business from here on out, I am going to honor it and make it stick. Because that's
Yeah.
the key to longevity.
True. Very true. So let's go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
And so
This is
we'll
gonna
go
be
back
fun.
to your first moniker, which is Peekaboo. Who's Peekaboo? Tell me about Peekaboo.
Man, Peekaboo is a dreamer. That little dude. I look at pictures when I was young and I be cracking up. I was like, I was in my own space and time. And I'm getting back to him, but as a man now, because
Mm.
that was one cool little dude, because he believed he can do whatever he dreamed of.
Yeah.
Like I literally would, and in high school with these two twin girls, Arle and Leela Rowe. Arle and Leela. And um, Kwame came out with the blonde dye and stuff, and I
Hmm.
was one of the first dudes. I had the blonde step with a black step with a blonde step, piece of my eyebrow blonde. I was just ripped jeans. This is back in '88. I was
Yeah.
I'll be showing the youngins pictures. They be like, yo, OG, yo, you what we rock now. I was like, been there. And they used to be like, yo, peekaboo. Like it's like you come out to surprise whatever you don't know what you're gonna wear, what you're gonna do. And Leela Arle was calling me peekaboo. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna rock with that. And back then I was a dancer. I was like I was a battle rapper by day, but then I'm a dancer at night. I was just ambidextrous. I was just everything.
And that's so ironic because back then I started out as a dancer too. I
Hmm.
danced for like Tough Crew and Crown Rulers out of the tri-state area. Yeah,
Hmm. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
That was a time.
It's the blueprint.
Yeah.
You
And so
that's what
so
you
how
feel
the
the
hell did you
rhythm.
migrate from dancing to actually like spitting rhymes, or did you always
I
do it?
always spit rhymes, but it wasn't really like I always spit rhymes. I sang in the church choir and played piano at church and everything, and I left church and started getting more into the streets. Like you know how it's especially the church dudes that got the little phobia of people calling you little church boy and thinking you a
Yeah.
pushover when you get out there and you start wilding and all that. But
Yeah.
I was heavily singing, but I got tired of singing. I wasn't really the dude to do all the runs and stuff. I sang in barbershop quartet. I had a great ear. I sang really well, but I
Hmm.
didn't. I kind of like wanted to like be a better singer and songwriter by the dancing and rapping.
Mm.
And when I started battle rapping, it was just for fun. I used to battle rap this battle rap in junior high school, and then I started beatboxing. So I was the best
Mm.
human beatboxer. I thought I was Dougie Fresh back then. I had Dougie's hairstyle and everything. So when I got to this is a talent show in Youngstown, Ohio called South High School Variety Show at the South High Fieldhouse. Like everybody from everywhere, all kind of sides of town, and even on the outskirts of Youngstown would come to the show. And I was in a rap group called the Force Crew, and it was packed. And I remember I got out there and I did this jungle beatbox that I had, and the whole crowd just stood up and started doing the wop, and they was screaming, and I was like, oh, I ain't leaving this alone. And I was
Mm.
like, I'm beatboxing. I start watching because dancing was big in Youngstown. I start watching the dance groups. So my cousin John Peace, Damon Peace, and Dwayne Peace, they was real big with dancing. They taught me everything I know, and then I ventured off and put together my own group. And I was intrigued by New York style of dance, sliding on the ground.
Hmm.
So I changed the whole blueprint of what dance was in Youngstown. I got deep into hip hop, Brand Nubians, X Clan, and the red and green and black beads. I was sliding on the floor, handstanding. It was crazy, but I just started like rapping because people was like doing contests for money, and I would win, and that $50 was feeling good.
Mm.
That $40 was
Mm.
feeling good, and couldn't nobody beat me. And I was like, yo, and I just kept writing my rhymes, kept writing my rhymes, and before you know it, I just got tired of dancing. I wanted to make the money, and I knew
Right.
dancing didn't make the money. They would say like, you like the Bobby Brown of Youngstown, you like the Bobby Brown of Ohio. I said, but at the time Bobby was rich though. I was like, but I need to make the records then.
Right.
So I was kind of confused. One minute I was KRS-One, and the next minute I was Bobby. I do it to you like KRS though in a
So
cipher.
so
Then I
during that
battle you
time,
in
right?
dancing too.
During that time, did it resonate to you that you have multiple gifts, or you were just testing things out?
I, 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 at that time, this is gonna take you because you probably could relate to this because I could already tell by your energy. It was all stimulus to me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
had to do all of it. I didn't start making a decision on what was going to be the it until I started when I graduated from high school.
Okay.
And I wanted my. I'm gonna be real with you. I think what hit me is when I saw Bobby Brown perform on American Music Awards, and I remember I lay in the bed with my hand behind my back, staring at the ceiling. I was just crying. I was just rocking, and I was like, I gotta figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And the more and more I was killing dudes, busting their butt with this rhyming and stuff like that, I started straying more into that. And then I was writing songs on my piano. I was writing songs. I was writing little R&B songs a little bit, but I was writing mostly rap songs. And I was just
Mm.
like, yo, I gotta learn how this works. I gotta learn this. I know I can do more than just get in a circle and crush these dudes. I can write the "You Down with OPPs." You know what I'm saying? I can write those. You could get with this, or you could get with that.
Right.
Them songs was blowing up,
Yeah.
and I
They
wanted,
were monsters.
yeah, I wanted my shot at that.
Yeah.
And the dancing, and you could agree with this too. The dancing will make you a better writer because you sometimes when I'm writing a song, I get a beat. I see myself dancing to it how I would be if I was a dancer, still me dancing to it. And sometimes
Yep.
my pen start flowing with the way I would see
Mm-hmm.
myself rhythmically moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like that's the equivalent to people when they hear music, they see colors or shapes. You know, it's the same deal. Yeah.
That's what I'm telling my artists that's Silent Success. We got an incredible shout out to Gilly Lamar, incredible choreographer. That my wifey, she's so freaking on point. She don't play. She found him on Instagram, and we've been like family ever since. And we're getting our artists, even if they don't even feel that they can dance, we getting them to learn choreography because it does something to you. It does
Mm-hmm.
something to your stage performance. It does stuff to your writing. It does things. All people know, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. To me, dancing as it relates to music is as if you could read music, but you're reading it with your body as opposed to with your eyes.
Sheesh. Whoa. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Exactly. That's powerful, brother.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
So
It's real,
you're in Ohio. What are your steps to get out?
man. So we started winning everything. And it got to the point where we couldn't compete no more. There's like you gotta be special guests. We would go to Pittsburgh, we would go to other states and start busting butt out there. Before you know it, they shutting it down. I'm just like, then I'm rapping. And I'm like, so R. Kelly comes in town. And it's a group called it was a girl group called Onyx. They went on to be
Hmm.
singers for Salt and Pepper. A friend of mine, Micheline Moore, and her group, and they asked me to be a dancer and just do this little 2-3 city tour with them. I only ended up doing 2 cities with them because I did a demo called "Swinger Like a Swinger," and and this is the truth on my life. So um when I did it, Roger Troutman, who became like an uncle to me, he was on that show, Bill. It was R. Kelly, a rapper that I signed an MC Hammer called BNGB.
No Angie.
And remember her? Just say
Mm-hmm.
I got him crazy. That
Mm-hmm.
record was crazy too.
Yeah.
Um, R. Kelly, BNGB, Roger Troutman, and Onyx opened up, and it was a group from Flint, Michigan called Night and Day. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I danced. They loved me on the show. They asked me to go to Pittsburgh with them. Went to Pittsburgh. Never forget, my rapping partner with my brother Perry Coleman was my writing partner who inspired me to stay in rhyming. He was like, I said, I'm gonna give R. Kelly our demo tape of Swinging Like a Swinger. And he was like, man, don't do that, man. He's like, he'll mess around and steal it. I was like, man, listen, I got another show with him in Pittsburgh. Like he said he looking for artists. And I know if I give him this demo, he gonna want to do it. He said, don't give it to him, he's gonna steal it. Now
Mm.
mind you, ain't no social media, ain't no rumors out that Robert Kelly steals no music or nothing.
Right.
I
Right.
go to Pittsburgh, I do the show. R. Kelly would see me dancing, see the style and everything. He was a cool dude. And I remember we was on the same hotel floor, and I left the door open, and I was singing loud, I was playing my music and rapping loud. I wanted the nigga to hear me. I was wild like that. I just walk up to somebody. I walk up to Aaron Hall, anybody, and be like, "Yo, yeah, the last time I saw you," and I never saw that dude in my life, and get them to start talking to me. I was rocking,
Oh, I get it.
fake it
I
to
get
make
it.
it. I was, if he was a person, you dig. But R. Kelly walking past, and he heard me, and I was like, "Yo," I gave him the demo. I heard my brother Perry saying no, but I was like, "Nah," I gave him the demo. I gave it to him. He said, "I'm gonna listen to it, man, and I'm gonna check it out, and I'm gonna let you know. You got your phone number in here." I was like, "Yeah, my phone number in there, man. I'm telling you, like, and it's like three more of us. We're a dope group from Youngstown, Ohio. Look out for us and everything." He's like, "All right, I'll let you know." And he took demo tape. Never called me, no nothing.
Wow.
Then about 2 months or so later, Winans came out with a record called Payday, written by Robert Kelly. And in my song, I had a rhyme, and then I said, like the little train, I think I can, I think I can, think I can, I think I can, right in the rhyme. And the
Hmm.
dude does a rap verse on the Whining single Payday. And the nigga says, like the little train, I think I can, I think I can. See,
Wow.
he stole my metaphor. He stole it. And a tear came out my eye. He ain't called me. And my brother Perry said, "I told you, dummy." But when I went home, I was a little broken. But I started thinking about it. And I was thinking that this dude is platinum. And he stole that from me. Yo, that was my revelation
A
that I
major
do
lesson.
this. It didn't even hurt me no more. Like, I'm not
Hmm.
mad at that man. He kicked in the door for Peekaboo to like believe. I
Hmm.
saw this what I
But
am now from him
but
taking that.
but how master class was that though? That was a master class of an introductory into the industry.
For real. Then I don't care. I'm keeping it a band. I wrote with Eric Sermon. He did a
Hmm.
song with Shades of Lingo. It's the Lingo, Bingo, howdy ho with the funk flow. I'm wicked. And then like he stopped in the middle of the rhyme, and he was like, "Yo, he liked the way I rhyme." You know what I'm saying? And I came up with your rap style has a slow leak. The mind is magnifique. That's magnificent if you hooked on phonics or running throw your guns in the air like Onyx. I wrote the rest of his rhyme or whatever, and I ain't know nothing about publishing. And he didn't give me no money. He don't know nothing. And the day I got with Chad Elliott in Atlanta, when he discovered me, he picked me up in a limo. He told me that he was going to take me to New York and he was going to get me a record deal. Chad Elliott told me that. I'm sitting in the dude limo, and that song comes on the radio, and every
Wow.
verse comes on. I wasn't even mad at him neither.
Mm.
I didn't know about and that's how the game was back then. You don't know about publishing. You ain't saying nothing. You just sitting in the studio writing for people, and writing with people is part of the game. It's what it is. But that hit me too, because still to this day, I love Eric. I'm not mad at that man. That dude is a freaking genius. Like, I love DPMD, but my go-to guy was him. I knew
Hmm.
R. Kelly was a genius.
Hmm.
So I'm looking at R. Kelly, Eric Sermon. I'm smooth. I could do this. And here we are.
Hmm.
So the things that sometimes the things that hurt are the things that propel you.
That's true. That's true.
So for me and my young mind and my young gung ho spirit, I was so gung ho to process it in that way. Kind of reveals to me, in a sense, outside of being raised to believe and honor and serve the Lord. Also, just that God gave me that natural gift to be able to to keep going, mentally turn those negatives into positives.
Right.
That was a good tool needed for me to make it here.
Right. So far along after that do you get with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis?
Oh man, that was dope. So I'm working with Chad, and we're in New York, and I signed a deal with Chad in 1994, and Chad is helping me find myself. I work Black Rob was my hype man in certain shows. Sometime me and him was close. We did some great work together. Me, the Locks, Maze, DMX. We would be in ciphers, rhyming. Me and DMX had a dope battle back in the day when we was embracing in the circle, hugging, and then me and the Locks did a record called The Artifacts of Life and Clue.
Mm,
But first, before we got the deal, we had these records
right.
because the first deal that we had wasn't with Perspective and with Jimmy and Terry. The
Okay.
deal was with Cassandra Mills and Giant Records.
Got you.
Giant Records had uh, a big hit with "Color Me Bad, Sex You Up"
Right.
because Giant Records had did the soundtrack to New Jack City, which was a huge movie at that time.
Yes.
So and then Ahmad had back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. I was like, oh, I get on that label. But when I learned about politics and the business was from that deal with Giant because this what Chad did. Chad took me to Uptown first to run for Andre Harrell. People
Hmm.
who goes into Andre Harrell in khakis and Chuck Taylors with the bandana, I jump on Andre's desk. I'm rhyming. I'm giving it to him, Jack. And Andre was feeling me. Chad was very proud of me. We get in the car, and I'm seeing him proud of me. I'm thinking, we got to deal with Uptown. Like, we got to deal with Uptown. I'm getting in back then. Kids don't even know what this is now. Payphone, I got mad quarters. I'm calling back to Youngstown, telling everybody. And then Chad's like, nah, we going to LA. And when we went to LA, we did the meeting with Cassandra. Come to find
Hmm.
out, Cassandra was Andre Harrell's ex-girlfriend who ended up getting a job at Giant. I said, yo, when I found
Wait,
that
hold
out, I
up.
was like,
Did,
yo, this
did
dude Chad is
Chad know
kind
that
of
already?
he's
Did
kind
Chad
of
know
social
that?
media-ish. Before it came out, he was tapped in.
Wow.
I give credit where credit is due. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then after he decides we're gonna go with Giant, he's like, yo, tonight get dressed. We're going to this magazine party. I was like, I don't want to go to a magazine party. I got girls and stuff liking me. I want to be at the swimming pool at the roof of the hotel. It's called the La Montrose. And he's like, no, we got to go to this party. I was like, I don't want to go to this party. He said, look, it's a party for this new magazine called Vibe Magazine. You got to go.
Mm.
Man, when I went, man, and I saw the cast of Martin, like not knowing that years later I would be like a close and knocked in with Tashina Arnold. She's like a sister to me too.
Hmm.
All of these people I saw, like that I been watching was there, and I was like, I gotta do this. So we do the deal with Giant. Now I'm hyped, and I'm working on the album. Chad calls me and was like, we're not doing a deal. My heart just stopped. I'm like, yo, but it's a part of me in me that was like, um, trust this guy's moves. You saw what he did before, like, and I never forget one day, you know, while I had my record deal, and this is why I try to tell young men too, I had my deal and everything. I still had a job. I was working at the Levi's store in Spring Valley, New York. I was selling jeans and was on like little guest TV videos and stuff like that. People knew who I was. I had a job.
Mm.
And I remember I
Mm.
came home from a job and I had bought this suede brown shirt. It's the shirt I'm in sitting with Missy Elliott in the Solo Heaven video, too, by the way.
Okay.
I got Kim Porter in it and Terrell Hicks as the models. And I bought that shirt, that very shirt, and I put it on and Chad was like, get dressed, get your afro neat. We're going to meet somebody and we picking them up over at the I think it's the Park of Meridian or whatever in New York. So we get in this Range Rover and we go to the hotel and we park outside. and we sitting outside. I remember it was a sunny day, and he told me get in the back seat because he gonna get in the front seat. I'm sitting in the back seat, and all of a sudden I hear him say, "Oh, there he is. Here he comes." He's like, "All right, so I'm gonna call you back. Whoever he's talking to, he's coming to the car now. Boom, get off the car." I see this black hat coming to the car, and I see his suit, and he get closer to the car. I was like, "Oh, but I didn't say shoot. I said cuss word. That's Terry Lewis."
Mm-hmm.
Man, this dude get in the car. I was like, it was so many emotions. Like you know, show him. No, you're not street, but you can't be. I didn't know how to be. I did not
I'm
know how
sure.
to be because
I'm
I'm a
sure.
music. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a music dude. I'm hearing while he's coming to the car. I'm hearing tell me. I'm hearing
Right.
ka. I'm hearing a whole medley of joints while this man is walking to the car. He gets in the whip,
Yeah.
and I'm just sitting back there like, yo. And he started talking to Chad. He don't even look at me. He have a conversation with Chad, and he's talking to Chad, and he says hello to me, and he's just like a little look back. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Whatever. And he just start talking to Chad, and Chad plays him this song that I did with Horace Brown. I wish that record
Mm-hmm.
would came out. I wonder why they do. I'm talking about how females play dudes, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm rhyming on it, and it was a dope record too. And Terry up there like, then he plays another one that shows I got a little melody, and Terry's like, we stopped at a light. Terry just started looking back at me. He was like, and he's handsome too, and he got a look. I knew I had that deal, dog. I knew I had that deal. I knew
He
I
was
did. I
sizing you
did.
up for the package. Yeah.
He was yo.
Now, was that before, was Perspective like their first label before they did Fly Time?
I think. I think Fly Time was first because I was because perspective in the it says perspective and them on my album, but it was really
Mm-hmm.
street perspective street
Okay.
because
Okay.
they was venturing off into hip hop.
Okay.
Let me give you something that's real funny though. We
What?
went to a restaurant in the village, right? Me, Chad, and
Uh-huh.
Terry. And we sitting down in the restaurant, and this dude was serving us food. And he had this big, like, rugged afro, man. But the dude looked like somebody. He wasn't somebody at the time, but he kept serving us or whatever, whatever. And I never forget. I don't know if it was Terry or I think it was Chad that started a conversation with him because he had a look. And the dude said, I never forget. He said his name was Maxwell.
Wow.
And when I saw a documentary on Maxwell's life and he said the restaurant he worked at in the village, I was like, that was him. That
Wow.
dude was our server that night. And he said he was gonna make it and sing and like he wasn't even trying to like get nobody to hear him sing and none of that stuff. He was mad cool. He was a waiter. I was crazy.
It's just proof positive that your path has already been laid. It's already ordained for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna skip to when you first hear your song playing on the
Oh
radio.
snap.
Where are you? How you feeling? What are you doing?
That was crazy as hell. That was crazy. Cause I was just playing around with that song. That song wasn't even called Out of Sight at first. It was called Polo Type.
Wow.
Because everybody, you know, down in the Midwest, down south, they be talking about polo. They weren't talking about Gucci and stuff and like Versace. You know, my polo. Yeah, we just like, oh, that's polo tight. So I wrote, I did a track, and the track I made on the ASR 10 was Uncle Roger. Dum, 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 dum. So rough, so tough, out
Mm-hmm.
here, baby. Boom. I did that beat. Boom, boom, boom. I played it. Boom. And I said, every time I write a rhyme, it's polo tight. People say, if he like you out of sight. Yo, 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 jiggy, jiggy, how'd you go? I'm doing what to do. And I just wrote the whole thing. Never done speaking like you. This is for the you try to call. Blah. Hey, yo, I'm rocking, and I'm doing it. I did it on a
Yeah.
karaoke machine. I
Wow.
took it to Chad. Brought it to New York to Chad. played it for him. He was like, "Yo, this is hard." But and
Mm-hmm.
back then, because Chad had a good ear, he could hear the air in the background from switching the cassettes back and forth to do the overdubs. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Yo, you just gotta change the name from Polo Sight to call it like Out of Sight or something. Like you out of sight. You got the Afro. You the Soul Brother #1." I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's dope, dog." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." So he's like, "We gotta just find a new beat for it." Don't I said, "I know you." He's like, "I know you wanted to do the Roger Troutman beat. Let's find a new beat for it." I said, "All right, cool." Couldn't find no beat for it. So watch this story how that happened. There's a group called the Product GMB. They had a song called Maria Maria.
Yeah.
Chad
Yeah.
gets a situation where he's gonna get a check to produce on them because Maria Maria was so big,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't had no follow-up records. All the records that they was putting together wasn't really, if you think about it, after Maria Maria, what happened to them? And it was
Right.
dope. They just couldn't find a niche for them. So him, Chad, and Out West did a track for them, which is the track to Out of Sight.
Mm.
And I heard that beat. I didn't think about putting Polo Tight to it, Out of Sight. But I was like, man, them dudes is lucky. I'm gonna be honest with you. The studio was in Chad's basement. I went upstairs because the beat was so dope. I didn't even want to hear it again because I was like, it ain't mine. And they was down there for hours and hours and hours. And I went back down there, I remember, and the energy was so off down there. The energy was off. They looked a bit discouraged, the group. And they played it, and Chad was like, all right, so we'll get back to it, whatever. We'll schedule another session. And they left. And Chad and Al West was like, nah, it just didn't.
It wasn't for them.
And right, and that's when I start learning that stuff too, because we sitting there and Chad just sitting in the chair and I'm sitting in the back. It's a console right there, and I'm just sitting in the back the way he had built a studio, and I was just sitting there, like I was just hoping he would be like, "Go get Peekaboo, get your pen and your pad, and go write a song to it." He
Mm-hmm.
gave it to me, but that ain't what he said. He looked back
What'd he
at me and
say?
he was like, "Hey, go do that Polo Tight thing that I told you to call Out of Sight and say Out of Sight. Go do that whole song to this beat." I was like, in my mind, I don't know if this gonna go with it at first. But I went in there and I jumped, and it was one take. Like I only after
Wow.
I laid it one take, I only had to make a few, maybe like 2 or 3 punches. Because I
Mm-hmm.
went in there as soon as I joined, I said, bring, bring, boom, 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 boom. I was like, gimme, ya, gimme, yo, boom, boom. Body. Killed it. They put me on the flight to LA about a couple days later. Junior Regisford still co-manages me and all that. Me and him still tight to this day. Him and his wife. Shout out to Altamisa Regisford. Love both of them. They come pick me up from the airport. We get in the car. Junior is my A&R perspective. I give him the cassette. He puts it in. He's like, yo, why Chad ain't play this for me? He called Jimmy. He called everybody and said, we got the single. This is the record that shows his character, who he is. Boom, boom, boom. Before
Yep.
you know it, they're like, yo, we got the album. Now we got the single. And now A&M goes to work. I was just telling Wifey the other day, I would pull up to A&M. They got the publicists, everybody coming out there here Out of Sight. Chad and me, we mixed it. I did a song called Credentials because now I'm feeling myself though. Now I'm like, yo, I got my little chain with my diamonds in it. Now I'm like, yo. So when they say they're gonna drop it and they dropped it, but they said they're gonna drop it, the first thing that they said was they're gonna put it on a movie called Ride.
Yes.
That's what you remember from.
Right.
So it's a scene with the rage after a robbery.
Mm-hmm.
And so they put it in the movie, and that scene was the epic scene. So it gave that, and for me to be singing three and four part harmony on a record, and doing harmonies in a record, in the in the actual chorus was a progression, was a bridge. Each chorus,
Yeah.
it was so different. So when they took that record and it popped off, I remember I had flew back to Columbus, Ohio, and I was in Columbus, and we was in the car driving. And I never forget the radio was down low because we was talking or something and drinking 40s and smoking. And somebody was like, who playing your song? Marcus turned up the music. It was on the radio. We was like, ah! We was going off. Oh, we turned up that night. We drank and we was just like, and everybody was like, that was in my circle was like, yo, this SHIT is real. It's possible. Dang,
Hmm.
it's real. You try to tell us, and then before you know it, it was everywhere. It was everywhere. So they called me to go shoot the video. When we shot the video, it was really on.
Oh yeah, that's like iconic. Like, of course, the first time that I saw you was the video, and the energy, your look, the beat, your
Thank you,
cadence, like
bro.
Chica Chico stuck with me for like ever.
A lot of people say that. Then that chick out your coast stuff come from me and Missy in the hotel room making sound effects like kids. Me and Missy Elliott, like kids playing around. She doing hee hee how, and I'm doing you. And we were just on some like, yo, we gonna make everybody say that. Like we don't know
Yeah,
what the hell we saying. We just make everybody say it, and people said it.
yeah, they did. So, what's going on in your life during this time? Like, how do you handle this notoriety and success? Being as young as you were, this is your first time out the box. You backed up by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I know your head is huge.
Nah,
No.
man. Shoot, God took me to the woodshed on numerous occasions. I don't want no mas, Jesus. No mas, Jesus. Man, I didn't look, man. I'm gonna say it like this: like it's some humblings that happen in life, and I'm so happy that I took myself through the hell I took myself through. Dougie Fresh said something real to me in 2022. Big Bro said to me, he said, God is giving you all your heart's desires now because he couldn't give it to you when you wanted it. Doug said, look at what God did for you. If he'd have gave you all that fame when you was young, you already went crazy with the little bit that you got. God just
Mm,
put you out there just enough so people can see you, remember you, so you
mhm.
can be here today. Because if he'd have gave it all to you, I don't think I would just be mourning Black Rob and DMX. I
Wow.
think I would probably be mourning my little brother Rufus Black too. Man, I
Mm.
cried like a baby on the phone with Doug. Cause Doug is like my big like when we talk, we get on the phone. We both Virgos too. We talking for like 2 hours and taking turns. So you know it's gonna be a long time for me and him to get on the phone. You experiencing the loquaciousness right now. But um yeah, so man, and so I went through a lot, man, and now I'm gonna be real with you. God, my wife, and my children are my biggest flex. God, my wife, and my children. Because with my wifey, man, I didn't even think I was good enough to. I didn't bag her. That was a gift from y'all. I
Mm.
ain't that fly. Nah. I like myself though a lot, but I am not he who did that.
Right,
And I'm on
right.
top of the world with my woman, my kids, and my record label, Silent Success Entertainment. Oh, they some wonderful young men and women on this label, and the world staying ready. I'm telling you.
Tell me about it. Flex
Oh
on that a little bit.
man, it's like I was doing so much for like TUG with Chris Stokes and all of those guys over there with
Hmm.
B2K, Marcus Houston, and all the groups. Mila J, Janae Aiko. I'm blessed to still have close relationships with Omari and Drew and Fizz and Boog, and Mila is like my little baby sis. Janae, me and Janae is still love always, but that situation went haywire. I'll just leave it at that. And then
Hmm.
I went on to another situation. I joined powers with somebody else, and it just didn't work out because God was saying to me, "You need to do your own,"
Yeah,
and I was afraid to
yeah.
step out. So when I decided to step out, I remember I was just me and Tashina Arnold. We were sitting at Jerry's Deli in Miami, and
Hmm.
that's another woman of wisdom that used to cut her and Angie Stone. God bless my sister. She's gone now.
Amen.
Kicked in the
Yes.
door. Who kicked in the door for me as an R&B songwriter and producer? It was Angie.
Mm.
It was Angie that got Clive Davis and all of them to believe, because nobody wanted to believe a rapper like me could be the songwriter I am today at that time. This was pre-Ja
Hmm.
Rule. You understand?
Yes.
I'm going to
Yep.
keep it 100,000. But Tashina was one of them nights that she chopped me with the truth too. And I told her, one of the things I told her in that conversation, I'm going to start my label. It's going to be called Mojo Bots. She said, nigga, don't be calling no Mojo Bots. You a diamond in the rough. Like, people that
Mm-hmm.
should know about you don't know about you. You don't even know who you are sometimes. Do you know who you are? Yo, Tashina used to chop into her brother. And Tashina said, she said, nigga, you need to call that SHIT Silent Success.
Mm.
I was like, check mark, put it in the box. But when things got real crazy for me in 2021, 2022, and I was alone, letting God move in my life, I just started writing in Vegas. I was living in Vegas
Hmm.
2022, 2023. I'm writing all of these things down for Silent Success Entertainment. And a situation happened where I had to come into New York for my 5-year-old daughter. And I wasn't even going to bring my equipment. I was focusing on her, my 5-year-old. So, but I brought my equipment anyway. And my brother XL, shout out to him, gave me an apartment at his spot. And as I'm down there working, I'm like, yo, I don't know when to start this label, but it's gonna happen. So when I locked in with my lady and we started talking, and our first conversation was like for 6 hours. We start clicking. Yo, we just start really vibing, and she brought me her cousin who was a great singer, and me and her we started our relationship getting close like best friends, but we was working.
Right.
My man Omar O2, shout out to him, R&B Playlist, introduced me to an event called R&B Playlist that he had, and I went. I didn't even want to go at first. And when I went, two of my artists, like, no, like, man, probably about, let me see, one, two, like three of them was there at that time, was there, and Marky D Jr. And I
And that's
got
the first time you're meeting them, right? That's the
it
first time you're meeting them.
first time. And I remember God was telling me how he blessed me with my queen, like how I wasn't gonna have to go out looking for artists and have to work, because artists be crazy. You get with them and they be backstabbing, ungrateful, like it's bad. And I didn't want to
Mm.
go through that no more. But when I went to that event, man, and the way I met them, the way Elliot Major stepped to me and started talking to me, the way Marky was and what he stood for. A girl tried to get at him while he was performing, and he showed that he was engaged, like he wasn't with that. Like a lot of young
Mm-hmm.
dudes, me and my queen was seeing all of this. So
Mm-hmm.
through Omar and through a brother, God rest his soul, my brother Jay Hatch, Mogul Status, Creative Space, we start going to song camps, and we were meeting these artists, and me and my queen decided to start Silent Success. I ended up having and then my son Zay Bando is also in one of our premier artists of Silent Success. He got booked to do a show in Vegas. So when we went to Vegas, I got all my stuff that was in storage shipped back to the East Coast. But I
Okay.
found my notebook with all my notes for Silent Success, and I gave it to my queen.
Wow.
And she said, she read it. She said, wow, we are already accomplished all of this except two things, and I'm going to knock it out this week. She knocked it out. We was official. And then we began to go, and we began to grow. And then before you know it, the Hop Awards calling. DJ Battle Cat, my brother, I got you, Ruth. Chris Tech Orion, I got you on the mixes. Everybody who was, the people who was over at TUG, over with
Mm-hmm.
the Ultimate Group when we did You Got Served and all of that, all
Right.
of those who believed in me over there and seeing what I can do and seeing what I was doing to help Chris Stokes and those guys, they was rocking. I was going into knocking out 12, 15 records a session for them.
Mm.
Now they see that I can do that here with who I have now.
Right.
Yo, what you want us to do, Rufus? Like, what you want us to do, Melanie? They opening the door. They like, it's just, and it's because of what we started this whole interview about, the relationships.
It's so true.
The
And you put
integrity.
You put something up on your Instagram today, which I thought was really powerful. You were talking about the energy that you keep around you and the energy that you support, especially the negative
Yep.
energy. Talk a little bit about that.
It's real. When you look, everybody is God's children, no matter how grimy, no matter how wicked they are. When I tell people to disconnect, distance, put in perspective certain people, it doesn't mean hate them, condemn them. You pray
Right,
for them. But
right,
being locked in with them, having alliances with them, overdosing on support of them is not a good look for you,
right,
because something in you is on that. When you see someone, if you're a part of a team, a company, and there's someone that's in that team that does some venomous, wicked, evil, backstabbing, funny style stuff, and you see with your own eyes that's what they on, and they actually did that. When they released, give them, pray for them, whole nine. Ain't nobody gonna be mad. Especially one thing about silent success: if we don't rock with people anymore, or just certain people that we feel, now we're not gonna let them come over here. We're not gonna talk bad about nobody. But what we're not gonna do is allow them to be close where people start getting it misconstrued that we rock with them,
right,
because they're just certain energies that our spirits don't lock in with.
right.
It's not no
And that's
connection.
real. And that's real. And then I argue too that there's only an amount of time before that same energy boomerangs back on you.
Because they have no loyalty. They have no sense of loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that when what we have to understand this too, you're gonna dig this too. In order for certain people to infiltrate a situation or get in or get close to, they perform, and it makes you believe them. And I'm learning slowly but surely, because my queen has look. When where one is weak, one is stronger. She has a very strong sense of discernment.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't got a hate bone in her body. She don't see other females and be like hating, feeling all. Nah, she real. She real to the core. She's cool. But there's certain energies that she can feel, and then there's certain energies with the music business that I can feel. And when I tell her I don't believe about this, she like, I got you. I'm watching. Boom. When she said that over here, I'm watching. Boom.
Mm.
Because you can put together the most beautiful thing and let one bad spirit get in there, and it will tear everything up. All it takes is a
Yep.
drop of venom. All it takes is
Yep.
a drop of venom,
Yep.
and they'll start having people be on their side and believing in them and vouching for them and speaking for them to set up how to break down a certain wall. And they start using people to break down walls so they can step in and be like, here I is, I'm about to up.
So true. That is so true.
So we all got to
And
listen, including me. So we got to listen to our hearts and our spirits, man. You get it, because my oil is too expensive. It costs me everything. When I gave my life to God, my oil is too expensive. It costs me everything. I ain't giving nobody Nathaniel, because ain't nobody giving me a hot dog either.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
And what
Ain't
and
nobody give
once
me
you
a
have a
hot dog. You
testimony,
understand? Huh?
once you have a testimony and you've gone through the journey and you did the work,
Mm-hmm.
there's a newfound respect for yourself that you will not allow yourself to be in certain situations simply because the love that you even have for yourself is on a whole nother level.
Bruh, we got to do more. Like we gotta, like you gotta, we got to invite you to the platform, because see, I'm the paragraph dude and you the punctual. Bang. You said it just quick. I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like some people they give you the sermons. Some
Mm-hmm.
people give you the liner. And that was you with that right there. Because it's another
I mean,
level.
yeah, it is. It is. And if in it, it's a real part. It's a real part, but I'm going to say also a sad part. It's real because it's all about you and it's about your spirit and it's about your growth. It's real. It's very real. It's you becoming, right? The other part about it that's sad is because You don't know what it is until you do it or till you get there. I can't
Right.
explain it to you,
Yeah.
and it's custom. It's custom to each person. Mine is not going to be yours. Yours is not going to be the next person's. I can give you my testimony to show you how real it is, but
Mm-hmm.
that's all I can do for you. If you
Yeah.
don't get anything off of what I tell you, you got to go on the journey because the journey itself is custom to you.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you got to go on the journey.
Yes. And there's too much information here that can be taken, mishandled, and put out there and cause madness and cause
Mm-hmm.
a whole mess. I give you one
That's
thing.
true.
Before God blessed me with my queen and I was dating, certain women would be like, "Yo, I want to meet your sister Faith. Yo, even next time you go over there, you gotta take me with you." No, I'm not, because if I take them into my sister's house, she is my sister, and I look at Faith as Faith.
Mm-hmm.
But I got sense enough to say, sometime when I look at her, that's Faith Evans.
Right.
Same thing with Dougie Fresh. Doug, that's my brother Doug. But then I sit back and be like, oh snap, I am really in front of Dougie Fresh. Because I got sense. I can't
You know
bring
what?
just anybody there. Go
That
ahead.
part. And I like to use a Shirley Murdoch phrase for that. It's because you counted up the cost. You know what it took for that person to be who they are. You counted up the cost.
That's why I explained to the artist on my label to be a brand protector. You're not just an artist. You don't
Yep.
just bring people up in people's mix. That's why
And
even
and again,
with,
and
yep.
again, I was talking about Faith, and anyone that I have ever met through
Mm-hmm.
her, they all have this same spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You already walk into this with an understanding that you would never do anything like that because you respect her journey. You respect what she's done. You respect the work that she's done for herself to get to that level to be who she is.
Correct.
And
So
why
when
would
you come into
you trash that by bringing a rogue energy into her
why?
mix?
So when you come to Silent Success, Rufus and Mel's journey becomes
Mm-hmm.
yours.
Yep.
The open doors that we open becomes yours. You
Mm-hmm.
can't come in with gremlins and goblins, nigga. Cause we gonna air it out. We love Jesus, but we still street. And we've gotten to a point where we know how special this is, that
Mm-hmm.
anybody can go who opposes the peace. And opposing the peace is like you said prior to us getting into this. If I'm telling you something, it's certain things that I know that I can't go online and say. Certain things with
Mm-hmm.
celebrities, so I've seen certain things. I know certain conversations and certain stuff. But people, when you have a consumer mind, consumer
Mm-hmm.
when you come into this business with a consumer mind, you ain't gonna make it too far.
Right.
Because anything you consume, you're gonna believe. Like people putting up these fake posts that such and such said this. Even with sports, when I see certain people put up posts that Allen Iverson supposedly said and he didn't say that, that's fake news. Fact check before you post it, and then start putting all of this comments up about it and stuff like that. Or you see stuff about Diddy. Diddy is did that woo wop woo wop woo wop woo wop, and that has nothing to do with the actual case. But you so consumed with everything that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody like me, I don't have T. I have data. T, data, two different things. And my Bernie Mac
Right.
voice, you motherfuckers can't be around me because I can't be talking to none of y'all because y'all be talking about. So when you
So
come
true.
around me, it's data. So it's to a
Yeah.
point now that certain people, and when they start getting defiant, when I am everything I say, I don't know everything, but everything that come out of my mouth, I'm definitely going to talk about things that I know. And if I make a mistake and I thought I knew something, I'm gonna be the first to sit you down and say, you know what, I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely
Mm-hmm.
gonna get this work over here, and you can't be here if you wanna if you wanna be that consumer dude or that consumer female, or you wanna do all that, and you can go
And
smoke your blunt, put up your middle fingers on Instagram, put money stacks
right,
in your ear, be a spectacle all you want, but not here at this label, because this label and this company, we pride ourselves off people honoring the music. We put the music first. The
right,
music speak for us, not the drama and the chaos and all of this fake stuff people doing online to get likes and clicks.
right.
We want plays. We want listeners. We want to, you know, we want people to tap in. We ain't tripping off clicks. The clicks is gonna come.
And that's so true about the whole consumer thing, because when you consume, that's just what you're doing. You're pulling everything in, and no regard to what it is. You're just pulling it in. You're taking in processed foods, right?
Right.
Shouldn't be a consumer. You should work on being a procurer. A procurer is very selective
Yes.
about everything that they're going to pull inside, examining it, itemizing it, testing it out. Is it worth the bite?
If it is it worth the bite? That, that is so powerful. And I too had to work on that.
Yeah.
And that's the testimony, is that those very same things that people do, the reason why I know is I do it too, and I have a propensity to do it again if I'm not careful. So if you
It's easy to
get this,
fall into.
so if you get this information from me and I'm admitting that to you, I am a very much um uh, the source that you can trust is coming from.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
if I'm telling you that this is going to mess up this and this is going to mess up that in business, your option to receive is on you. Because what Dr. Phil always used to say is, how's it working for you? Because life breeds results. We
It
live a life
does.
that, take it from here, because I know you got something about the results. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, just saying, like, again, you got to count up the costs. And if you start making moves and you don't count up the cost, there's hell to pay for it.
Hell.
Whether you see it or not. And then you have these people, they're constantly on a trip. I call it lily padding. You don't really have a solid foundation. You jumping from lily pad to lily pad, trying to stay alive off of schemes, lies, backstabbing, bigotry, all that stuff. There's no
Bro,
sustaining there.
bro, you are so G-coded, it don't make no sense.
That's
Lily
just the way it is.
pad, lily padding, and I will give you all, I'm gonna give you your flowers too whenever I say it, because lily padding is so freaking real, and that's what a lot of people are doing. But listen, one of the things I posted recently too is that bad things continue to happen to certain people. You consider to continue to be in the same pattern because you will not change yourself. You have to change yourself. You keep trying to
Everywhere
get
you
fresh
go, everywhere
everywhere.
you go, there you are.
Stretch. Wherever I got that line, that was a good bar too, a stretch bar. But whenever you go to the net, they be looking for fresh meat to try to convince and lie to. Fresh meat, they go
Yeah.
camp to camp, lily padding, but
Hmm.
you're who you are. And you don't realize you don't want to change. You don't want to work on you. You would rather come through and disrupt somebody's peace
Hmm.
and throw the energy off.
Because
And
when you lily pattern, right, where's your foundation? Because there's going to come a point in time where you're going to run out of space to hop. Where are you going to go? And where's your direction? You scrambling around. You better get yourself right, get your spirit right. And it's not
yep,
like I'm preaching for church. It's just therapy for self and soul. You
absolutely.
can call the power whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
but you better honor something.
You are so freaking right. Because at the end of the day, everything that you're saying, they'll go to until they run out of places to go to, right? and now they done brought you with them
Right. Right. On a sinking lily pad.
on a sinking lily pad, because 9 times out of 10, your heart is so big. But maybe they can. I remember there was a situation where I used my heart, and I never forget my partner, who is my queen, said to me, Rufus, she admires my heart, but they are not going to change. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they don't want it. They don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Change comes from people who want it.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a
Mm-hmm.
consistency of what and who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Your heart will get in the way, and it will
Yep.
cause all kind of chaos to people who don't deserve it.
Yep. And I was just having this conversation earlier today. There are many who are afraid of the change to become a better them because you have to strip down and you have to surrender. A
Oh,
lot of people have a
my
problem with being
word.
naked. They do. They have a problem with being naked, man. You got to strip everything that was to make space for the new. And if you're not ready to do that, and like you, and what triggered this for me to come out right now with that is because you said they have to want it. You have to desire it and you have to want it. Because if you don't, you're not going to be prepared for the unsheathing. You're not going to be prepared to get naked.
Oh my gosh. God gave me a word Sunday, and me and my wife, have been talking about this every freaking day since then, and I've been sharing it with Silent Success, called Surrender to Unity.
Mm,
That is what I've been chain texting them,
mm,
surrendering to unity. And you said
mm,
that.
mm,
And
mm.
we ain't talking not once.
Nope,
Because
nope.
this is the energy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I've been watching the grimy, the disrespectful, the ungrateful, the snakes. I've been watching them fall one by one, to the point it's hard to watch social media and be on social media, because I've been seeing what many call karma, I call God's wrath, is coming back, tapping on people's door.
mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm,
come on with me.
mm-hmm,
It's a season of exposure.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
now it's allowing the energies like us, the light, like we stronger than ever, and we speaking stronger than ever now. Because it's one scripture
Mm-hmm.
I love so much, when God says, I will make your innocence radiate like the dawn.
Mm,
Radiate. We're
mm-hmm.
radiating right now. I'm not letting nothing come around and get in the and trying to block Nathaniel. Nothing. We're radiating because of surrender, like you said.
Yeah.
Even from the spiritual, surrendering to Yah, and from the mundane, just surrendering, dying to self, and surrendering to unity.
Yeah.
Being grateful for being a part of something great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What more can anyone want? This more?
Well, there's more in their mind because they're not focused on self. They're not focused on leveling up. They're not focused on turning inside out to be whole. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to have truthfulness with yourself.
Correct.
A lot of people can't be true with themselves, regardless of whatever that is. And there's so many things out here that can keep people from doing that. But when you get in the space and you surrender to and ask for, you shall receive. And one of the things that my prayer for anyone that I know is for them to have a relationship. I need
Correct.
for you
Correct.
to have a relationship.
Correct. 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 I don't, people don't, a lot of people don't know how to value relationships.
Hmm.
A lot of people just don't know how to. And I am aware of this. So with that being said, my expectancy is one of the craziest things in the world because it's like really beating the crap out of the human race.
Mm-hmm.
Is expectancy.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer have this expectancy of people or anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Mm-hmm.
how you set yourself up to get toe up from the flow up.
That's true.
You just, me personally, I just pray that I could be the best example that I can be and do my responsibility at
Mm-hmm.
moving the way I move in
Mm-hmm.
righteousness and knowing, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
be the God that I'm requested to be from the Most High and do my part.
Mm-hmm.
That's my responsibility. It's not theirs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if in fact, because I'm gonna be real with you, solid success is successful because of unity. We have impact, and
Mm-hmm.
people think impact is likes and views. No, people think impact is fame and popularity. No, people think impact is money.
Mm-hmm.
That's not impact. What we are at solid success is we're unified and we are incredibly talented. And when it's go time and the time comes, we ready. We battle tested. Each and every one of us been supporting each other. A lot of us been going through hell and back. And people can't tell because they see us dropping records and doing music, and we ain't running to the majors or anything like that because we're getting ready because we know that the greatness is coming. So we just getting ready because what happens is when you cross over to the other side and the success comes. That's why we call it silent success. If in silence you ain't growing, you ain't getting stronger, you in
Mm-hmm.
trouble when the greatness arrives.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the caterpillar, what it does.
That part.
It don't just transform into a butterfly in the front of you. It goes into its hiding place, into a cocoon. Do you know how ugly that metamorphosis probably is in there? If they put a camera in the cocoon, half of his face got the antenna, and you know what I'm saying? But it comes out so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But it know look, watch this. It knows when it's time
Mm-hmm.
to come out.
And,
It's
and,
time
and
to shine.
and it supports just what we talked about. You have to strip down to your bareness to be rebuilt, to be greater.
You gotta strip down to your
Yeah.
bareness.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Man, when I tell
So
you,
go ahead.
no, I said when I tell you this has been what we right now, this is great, bro.
No, I'm definitely feeling this, and I knew it was going to be like this. That's why I was so excited to talk to you, because again, I haven't met anything through that lady, anyone through that lady that didn't possess a deeper presence, and so I'm so appreciative for that.
She it's like I said, man, like we are we attract who and what we are.
This is true. This is
And
true.
she is really greatness because one thing about Faye, she's never allowed herself to get caught up into that fame aspect. And I had to catch up with her on that. I had to catch up. And boy, did I have to run laps to catch up with her. Jesus Christ.
But you know what the beautiful thing about it is, though? She does it while still knowing her worth.
That's the thing.
Yes, the
That's the
thing.
part. That's the part.
Yeah.
It's very important. It's very important. And it's like you some people think they want it.
Hmm.
They want to change. They want to, you know, get to where we are. Where we are. and what God through us has become. Like you look at I have a track record. Glory to God. Faith has a track record, and we've done some amazing things. And look who we are today. We still here. A lot of us is dead, gone, lost their minds, and the
Yeah.
whole nine. But people don't realize that this was really hard work. And like you said, surrender. People use
Mm-hmm.
that word sacrifice so much. And sacrifice is starting to get a little weird because there has been sacrifice of people's souls to make it in this business.
Yeah.
I was talking to Pepper from Salt and Pepper not too long ago. I'm working on a
Shout
project
out
with
to Sandy.
shout out to Sandy, her and her daughter Egypt, and she had a problem with how that word sacrifice is used in records.
Mm-hmm.
She wants clarity on what if that word is ever used in her music. Like Sandy is really in a different spiritual space that I really, 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 truly love because she don't want certain words, certain energy, certain people, certain things attached to her. She don't want certain things touching her. I've seen Sandy around people, and it seems like you would like seem like she being arrogant or something, or she's like acting like they non-existent, like when they're being introduced to her and certain stuff like that. But I started studying something. I never would say anything, but I studied. There was a particular individual she would not lock into, but when I got to see what that individual was on and what it was, I seen
Mm,
exactly why Sandy did not want to lock in that person and never freaking did.
mm, mm,
And when I saw it, I said what's so dope is that Sandy taught me a lesson. Don't even acknowledge it.
mm.
Just nice to meet you. How you doing? Don't even acknowledge it. Don't even you see it and you keep moving. Like, like her distance game is real. It's like she knows, and it's like nope, nope, and it's a lesson being learned. Because when you
It's
start
so
talking
funny
to
that
certain people and you open them doors, it's just sometimes a little is too much for people like that.
my my grandmom used to say something to me when I was a kid, especially like entertaining negativity, and she used to say, "The demons love the light. Never show a demon the light."
That, that's right.
Mm,
Man, that right there was a ultra sermon
mhm.
right there, brother. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's
Shout out
so
to me some of your artists from Silent Success.
Aaron Stacks, dance hall, rap. She's so dope. Elliot Major, sing, rap, ambidextrous. Jay Cloud, phenomenal writer, like singer, engineer. Oh my goodness, the man is half man, half amazing. Marky D Jr. Oh, outstanding. Like so tapped in his R&B bag. He's a Terminator with the pen. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Zay Bando, phenomenal, phenomenal artist, hard working, incredible, incredible voice. Drew, who is formerly known as Lil Fizz, B2K.
Okay.
He's over with us. He has his own label slash Silent Success called Airwave. He's doing his thing. Outstanding. Always been one of the best artists I've ever worked with. And now you see him reuniting with B2K, him, Omarion, Raz, Boog. I'm so proud of him. Reality, a kid from Harlem. Like, oh my goodness, this kid is a beast. Ridiculous. We have a singer, our queen, R&B queen, Amber Lee.
Mm,
Amber Lee, she's on Instagram as Amber Lee Sings. She's outstanding. Just
mm,
ridiculous. Pen game crazy. She writes and work with Ali Caldwell. Uh Kefa Mordecai, outstanding.
mm,
Um Rhythm. Oh, yeah, yes, Bad Ash. We got an artist. Bad Ash, Chicago Fatty. Levy from Canada is
Wow. Okay.
incredible. He's from Canada, and we got an incredible MC from Brooklyn named Thought Provoker. That's like
Wow.
fire. Yep, I said rhythm. Yeah. So,
I love that. So, I mean, seriously, you got to filter them through here so I can talk to them. I'd like to get to know them.
oh, we definitely gonna do that.
Yeah. Brother, I appreciate you for your time and the fact that we could do this. You know, last week we had a little scheduling difficulty, and I was so glad we were able to work this out. What
Yeah, man.
I normally ask from my guests is to get them to manifest something from the universe.
Hmm.
And so this is where I ask you to manifest something.
Oh man, that's easy. What I'm manifesting is consistency and peace.
Mhm.
Consistency and peace. Peace is everything. Peace is
Yes, it is.
everything. I remember my mother said to me one time, because we always talk about our mamas and grandmamas, me and you, boy. We have a field day about our mamas and grandmamas. But my mother was like, she said, Rufus, you've done everything you set out to do. Your dreams, you've inspired me. She said, but Rufus, she said, son, I just pray that you find peace.
Mm,
I pray that you find peace. And now that I got it, yo, man, I will fight you to the freaking concrete core of the earth over my peace. Like, but I
mhm,
don't have to do that anymore
mhm,
because of the exercise of discernment and
mhm,
clear understanding that one
mhm,
of the biggest liars in this world is feelings.
mm,
And
mhm,
sometimes I leave my feelings behind. I say, well, feelings, you're going to stay right here because me and faith is going this way.
mhm,
And my feelings got to catch up to my faith because I'm
mhm,
not standing for my feelings. I'm not waking up feeling like crap when I know I got to tackle this doggone day and all I got to do is get up and keep walking with y'all and I'm going to feel
mhm,
better. I'm
mhm.
not
Because
going
it's
to let
always going to be all right.
I'm not going
It's always going to be all right.
always. And I'm not going to let my heart be like, because I feel for someone and I feel that they have potential. I feel, but that could get me in trouble. That ain't nothing. God didn't. Certain
Here,
people saying we do that. God
here,
didn't give me no assignment.
here's another one. Your feelings, they're an exaggerated want. It's a luxurious want. It's a designer want.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And that's why when a lot of people, when we talking, they be like, "Yo, it's my opinion or certain stuff because I feel, and that's how I feel, and I feel, and I da 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 da. But I feel, and I feel, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, you don't even hear how you talk. Like your feelings are your God. People don't realize what you feel are oftentimes not what's going on. It's not
Right?
it. What you feel is not. So consistency of peace, overriding feelings and overthinking and
And,
just
and and circling back, I want to circle back to prove a theory. Circling back to prove a theory. The people that do that, that are always in their emotions and feeling, I would argue that they are the most severe lily padders because there's no foundation.
they will get up and mash out as soon as their feelings and those opinions are overridden. They're out of here
Hmm. Hmm.
because they. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just like I'm really just I'm really just starting to realize it's just that certain people's minds are in just certain places that I am not, and I'm not going. I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't. And I don't think I'm better than anyone. I don't think
Right.
I'm right about everything. But what I do know is that
Hmm.
common sense is key. But at the same
Hmm.
time, you know, the ability to have honor and respect to know when you're wrong and say, you know what, teach me something. Let me
Hmm.
sit down. I don't have a problem with seeing where I'm wrong at something because all of my opinions aren't accuracy. And
Right. Right.
I have people that will break it down to me, and I'm sitting there, and I love to be. I'm learning as a man, love to be educated. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I got on the plane in uh, '97. Perspective A&M was flying me out, and I was going out there, and I sat by this man. He was like 102 or something like that, older white guy, and he was sitting on the plane by himself. He was a trooper. He got his mind right and everything. I sit next to him. He says, "You going to LA, huh?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I remember, son, when they were dirt roads. I
Mm.
remember when they were dirt roads." And he started talking to me, and he said two things that like really have been shaping me for all of those years since '97 on this journey. The first thing he said is, "If I could do something all over again," he said, "I wouldn't have worried so much as
Mm.
things work themselves out."
Mm.
That's the
Mm.
thing. He said the only thing he would change in his life, ain't no telling what that man may have done in 102 years. You done did some stuff.
Right.
But for him to say the only thing he would have changed was worrying so much, because he
Mm-hmm.
realized that those mistakes he made him the man he is today. And
It's
then he
the
said,
journey.
yes, and then he said the last thing he said to me that really hit me in the chest for a 102-year-old man to say to you is that you should always be open pretty much to be educated, because learning does not stop until dee, and he imitated the flat line. He said that's when learning stops.
Mm. Mm.
People don't fact check, people just run. The truth is not entertaining to people, so they don't gravitate to it.
Right.
People got this new saying, this saying I can't stand it. I'm gonna tell my truth. Your truth ain't the truth.
And if that's the case, everybody has one of those. Everybody
Everybody.
has one of those. And,
People.
and, and technically, it boils down to be an opinion. Everybody has an opinion because your truth is your opinion.
And
Yeah, no.
and that's the thing, because the my thing is opinions and the truth are two different things.
But
So
9 times out of 10, their truth is their opinion.
and
It's
that's the
convoluted.
and and
It's
and
convoluted.
and that's what's disturbing, and that's why I ask for consistency of peace, because I do not like to be disturbed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why I'm asking for it, because it be disturbing sometime when the truth is right there, and people start giving their opinions and say, because I feel like, and I'm sitting there listening like, I'm glad you're just saying this to just me, and we're
And
not in
hear
a ring.
this. And hear it. They're arguing on the truth because of their feelings. Their feelings are a luxury designer want. So you want to augment the truth for your own comfort. It's not real.
Right. It's, oh my goodness.
And it's like when you get to that place, like when you're peaceful and you've done the work and you're at a place, and I know you've seen it, you don't even have to do any work. Like you don't even sometimes have to shake anybody off. They'll feel uncomfortable just being around you because you don't measure up. They'll
Right.
slink off. They'll come in for the initial, check it out, but when they realize there's no fit in here, they just slide off. They go away. Some are persistent. When they realize they can't get in, they'll just vanish.
That is so real.
So your agenda isn't copacetic for the movement.
That is so real, man. That is so real, bro. That's so real, bro. And this is why we have to protect our energy more than ever. And
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily mean we have to insult them, we have to get into a back and forth, because we're in a time and a space to where there will be times that you have to go to battle.
Mm-hmm.
It's life.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the time, especially when you ask for consistency of peace, that you know that you may have to step out of that, and you're gonna have to hold it down to maintain your consistency of peace. But you
Mm-hmm.
but you have to step out on the battlefield, but choose your battles wisely.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
choose your battle.
Yep.
And choosing your battles wisely is, I'll give you an example. We recently saw LeBron James going back and forth with Stephen A. Smith.
Right.
Um, Stephen A. Smith is a powerful voice in sports, and he's
Mm-hmm.
always been. Um, Stephen A. always knew his stuff. Up until recent, I started kind of bumping heads with how he moves with when social media start blowing up. He, to me,
Right.
this is my opinion. I'm not insulting the brother because I don't know him, but he started getting a little different, in which I didn't agree with him on a lot of stuff. But not going into who I agree with between him and LeBron James, I'll say this: he stepped to him, and Stephen A. has said before that, y'all know where I'm sitting at. I'm courtside. Come holler at me. He said Kyrie stepped to him and said, "Where's all that energy?" He said, "I'm right here, and I'm not scared of you." So he's had players come check him before while he's at the game. But
Mm-hmm.
with LeBron James, LeBron is a big figure, so it kind of blew up, and
Mm-hmm.
men's egos got in the way and stuff like that. But LeBron stepping to him, that was a battle that LeBron chose
Mm-hmm.
because Stephen A. has such a big voice in sports to the point that Kobe even had to check him
Right.
because he has such a mighty voice. He's
Yes.
$100 million man for talk about sports.
Yeah.
He's major.
He's a
You
scale
don't have to like
tipper. A
right
big scale tipper.
for real. He's a big whether you like him or not. He don't care,
Right.
and he teaches. There's a valuable lesson you can get from Stephen A. Smith. Like, especially if you profess to know God, you're supposed to move like that. You ain't supposed to let that run down your back. Braun chose that battle.
Yes.
That was a battle because this dude is going. He what he is to the sport, how he talks. This has to do with my son. I thought I was slighted as what he's saying about me being a father. This is the battle I'm gonna choose. But then after that, somebody said that I guess Kevin Gates said something about him, and I was like, watch this, because I don't talk bad about people. I just said, oh, okay, and kept it moving with life. Because when you break it down, somebody said, and a friend of mine sent me something of Kevin Gates sitting at the Lakers game, and people were saying, why ain't LeBron stepped to Kevin Gates like he did to Stephen A? I
Yeah.
start busting out laughing.
Yep.
What does
I saw that.
Kevin Gates have anything to do with sports? What does
Right.
he advocate for the game? Then on top of that, he's a rapper, and he's been tied up in a lot of controversies that me as a man would get caught up in.
Right.
I'm not knocking him for whatever choices and decisions he make and how he moves to what he does with his career and how people do their thing.
Right.
I don't know that brother have nothing against him, but Braun did not choose. That's not a battle that someone of that level would choose. He made his opinion. He said what he said, and that's dope. That he had the money to sit courtside. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty dope for Kevin Gates. That's
Right.
pretty dope. But if I'm LeBron, no, I'm thinking in my mind. So other people are going to now. Other people after him. There's going to be another. There's going to be another. There's going to be another. So what I'm going to be doing? Just making people get more clicks and making other people. No, he chose his battle,
Right.
and that with Stephen A. makes sense because when you're at a certain level, but
Mm-hmm.
consumers, what I try to tell people, a consumer don't understand that.
Yep.
Certain people they want to see it. Yeah, I want to see you did it this and then the third. And now me personally, there are people who think this way, who are supposed to think this way because that's how this industry works. That's how you make. That's how people. Obviously, the industry is moving right now, not off of money. You don't get money. You don't get paid for streams no more like that. You mean
Yep.
record sales? You get paid for streams and stuff like that. So the hype, the talk. I know a lot of people say, Rufus, stop trying to convince and help these people. They don't want to hear it. They want the tea. They want the toxic. They want the negativity. They want it to keep going because they are consumers. Learn. I'll never forget a guy said to me, Rufus, now that you found God, you want to help people and so much, but you got to realize you're still in the business. And sometimes you're gonna find yourself catering to people's narcissism. I almost passed out. You got to. People are gonna have their feelings and opinions on what they see. They're not thinking choose your battle. They don't know how to
Right.
think from bronze level. They don't know how to think from the things you've seen yours. Some people don't know how to think from those levels. They haven't been there.
Right.
They don't
Right.
understand fame. Some people will say to you, shoot, man, if I couldn't be famous. I couldn't be that popular because they know they water. So they'll speak from that spiritual realm because you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't even know what to do with it.
Right.
So I'm not going to argue with you when I know for a fact you wouldn't know what to do with it.
Right.
Why am I going to go back and forth with you trying to convince you about how on this level to choose your battles?
Right. How many artists do you know that were consumed and aren't here anymore for that very reason?
For that reason. And they're done. Cook themselves. So now all they're doing is on YouTube, doing these interviews. I see sometimes I see certain stuff with Art of Dialogue and stuff like that. And look,
Mm-hmm.
I don't knock the brother at Art of Dialogue. I don't knock Vlad or none of them guys. Like I said before, I don't knock nobody. That's what they do. But it's not my spiritual
Right.
setting. I can't sit there and you know, just watch it on a daily basis. Some people, that's what they thrive and they watch. Some people
Yeah.
look in the news for negative stuff about people that they don't like so they can go and post about it.
Yeah.
And
No.
they're posting without a solution. They're posting without any wisdom attached to it. They're
Mm-hmm.
posting without an understanding of what it is to be at that level, what it is to father children at that level, and people may attack you.
Yep.
They're not looking for uh resolve,
Right.
or positive resolve, or moral
Right.
of the story is, or the positive ending. They're looking for something to keep going. They want stuff to keep going.
One of
You
the things that I promised myself when I started doing this platform, because my motivator is always inspiration,
mm-hmm.
positive inspiration. And that's the driving force. That's why I do what I do. Whether it be me having a conversation with someone and getting the inspiration from them, or someone witnessing or hearing the conversation and them getting inspiration from our dialogue, it's always about inspiration. And I want to thank you for being a part of my forum, brother. This was beautiful.
Man, yes, it was. It was dope. And what I love about it is positive. We can talk about people in the game and events without attacking them and their character, because like I said, people do what they do. They do what they like. We talk about the feelings, right? It's where we are in this world, and they feel that this is best for them. And one of the greatest teachers um after Yahweh in this world is life. There will be results for your actions.
Mhm.
And a lot of those opinions, there will be results for those opinions. Like we
Yeah.
said, Dr. Phil, how's it working for you?
Yes.
So I think, man, honestly, you and I, brother, it's a lot of great things happening, a lot of great events we're gonna have. We have a lot of retreats. Brother, you are invited, because
Okay.
all like beings and brothers locked in, we got to come together and do more dialogue and conversations like this, because I'm gonna be real
Mhm.
with you. Forget the industry, the world needs this. The world,
Yep.
brother.
Yep.
No attacks
I'm
or
so on the
no
board.
attacks or insults to anybody. The truth, it happens to hurt, but guess what? It also does heal. But you got
Yep.
to want it.
That's the truth. Well, brother, you have my connections. We're gonna stay in touch. We're gonna build. We're gonna fellowship, touch and agree, all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
Brother, tell everybody where they can find you and where they can hear your music. Like, and we didn't even talk about, like, you've written for so many people. Like, we kind of went off on the tangent, but I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
You are like one of my favorite maestros,
Thank you, sir.
and I wish you great success
Thank you,
and
sir.
fortune. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me right here on Instagram at The Real Power of God. You can also, my record label is at Silent Success Entertainment, one word. Facebook, Rufus Moore, PKA Rufus Black, spelled with a Q, BLAQ. Um, yeah, I forgot. I'm just getting the hang of TikTok, but I'm on TikTok, but I forgot what my page name was on TikTok. But we're gonna activate the TikTok and get that right soon. But man, that's all they need as of now. And I got songs out on all digital platforms. Just type up my name, RUFUSBLAQ. Um, and the music is there. And just stay tuned because it's a lot of great things coming from Solid Success and my roster. Shout out to my producers at Solid Success, Amazing P, Don Cody, that Ross Music. He's amazing. My brothers who step in and produce and show love like DJ Battle Cat, Michael Snotty, Chris Tech Orion, Reese from Australia, um, Alex Thomas from Ohio. We gotta if I missed anybody, y'all know it's love. And I just appreciate you, Brother Cheek, man. This is a beautiful interview and I was excited about it, man.
Absolutely. Do me a favor. Please put a word in for me with Mr. Other. He's another favorite maestro of mine, DJ Battle Cat. I've been wanting to talk to him for a minute. Put a nice little word in for me.
I would definitely do that. And Battle Cat is a man of Yah, man. He really truly love and honor God. He's another brother that is tapped into the frequency of spread love. I would chop it up with him, and man, I know him and your energy. If y'all get, you think this was a good one? Can you and him? Can you imagine us 3-on-1 though? Like for real, cat, yo,
I would
cat
live for that.
spirit.
I would live for that.
His frequency, cat's frequency is high, bruh. His frequency
Wow.
is high, and it stay there.
Mm,
It stick to the ceiling. It's not coming down.
I'm here for it.
All right, I'll chop it
Brother,
up with. See what's happening.
call me. Call me. We'll
We'll
talk.
do
We'll rap.
for
Much
sure.
love, brother.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Peace.
All right.